Hello, everyone. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me once again. You know it's bad when groups of thieves decide to rob a religious retail store. And in this instance, I'm talking about retail stores in Los Angeles that were looted over the weekend or the Sabbath, which is Saturday for Jewish people. They looted some retail stores in Los Angeles. So I'm going to get right into this article because this just goes to show you that when you do not have laws, the bad part, the negative part, the dark part of human nature is manifest. It goes buck wild. Let's get right into this. It just goes to show you these liberal cities all over the country are having these kind of problems. And I'm hoping and praying that people in America will wake up and see what these progressive Democrats, which are actually communists in disguise, are actually doing to the cities all over this country. But it says several kosher restaurants along Pico Boulevard in the Pico Robertson neighborhood of Los Angeles, the heart of the Jewish community, were vandalized and burglarized in the early hours of Saturday morning on the Jewish Sabbath this weekend. And there are pictures of this, of these places being vandalized. I mean, it's just terrible. It's just really, really terrible. It's really, really terrible. But hopefully people wake up and see what's going on. The article goes on to say the Jewish culinary website, and I hope I'm pronouncing this, please forgive me, YEAH, that's kosher, reports on Twitter X are sharing images of kosher restaurants with smashed windows and storefronts in Los Angeles' Pico Robinson neighborhood, home to much of the city's Jewish community and kosher dining scene. Anti-Semites in LA have on numerous occasions vandalized the city's kosher eateries and local synagogues with smashed windows and spray-painted swastikas. That's insane. That's insane, man. I mean, it just talks about, and it goes into more detail. Let me read this part here. It says retail theft has become so bad in Los Angeles with multiple incidents of mass lootings at malls that Mayor Karen Bass formed a special task force on the problem last week. You should be trying to create laws that will. Let's go on. Her 2022 rival, Rick Caruso, had campaigned in Pico Robinson on stopping crime. So, yeah, that's the end of that article there. You guys can read the entire article on your own free time if you so wish in the description box below. But once again, I just want to elaborate on this. This is unfortunate and this is crazy. But once again, this is a demonstration of liberal progressive policies going haywire. When you remove law, and when you remove the consequences of people's bad actions, people will be encouraged to commit those bad acts. And what we're seeing in cities all over the country, and I'm going to keep pressing this until people see it. What we are seeing all over in cities all over America, just about every progressive Democrat run city, this is what you see going on. Looting, violence, lawlessness. The problem is not poverty. This is what people see. This is what ended up getting Charlemagne the God slapped upside his head when he had Larry Elder on his show. Okay, talking the same dumb progressive talking points. Okay, poverty is not the problem. Poverty is not what is causing these people to loot. Usually young people, teenagers. Poverty is not the cause of these people, these knuckleheads, if you will, okay, because that's what they are, they're knuckleheads. Poverty is not the reason why they are looting and robbing these restaurants and stores. That is not the reason for that, okay, because if that was true, then number one, that would mean that every person that's in the African American community or any community for that matter, that's in poverty would be robbing stores and looting, but they aren't. You want to know why they aren't doing it? Because they know that thou shalt not steal. There's no justification for doing for stealing. There's no justification for it. You can be in an impoverished situation and still not be a thief. So if it's all about poverty causing these people to rob and loot and so forth, which is a goofy argument, an ignorant argument, as far as I'm concerned. If that's the case, then everyone in impoverished situations will be robbing and looting. So that argument doesn't work. Okay, back in the 40s, according to the writings of people like Thomas Sowell and others, back in the 40s and even before then, you had poverty among African Americans that was even greater than is today. You had overt racism, you had poverty, and yet during these impoverished seasons in the African American community or the Black American community, that slipped out when I say African American because I'm trying not to use that as much. The crime rate was low. It was much lower than it is today. So you would think, okay, well, poverty was really deep back in those times. A lot of blacks were in real impoverished situations. Why wasn't there much crime going on? It was because they had a different worldview. They believed that certain things simply was not right. They were raised and surrounded by certain principles that were taught at home and were taught in the schools. And one of those principles were, and I know people don't like this, but it's the truth. One of those principles were the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments was taught in the schools, and some of the institutions adhered to those laws and regulations, those spiritual laws and regulations. Whether people thought it was a religion infringing on your rights, whatever, it didn't matter. Because the Ten Commandments were very practical. And when you remove those moral laws, you remove the ability of people, or I wouldn't say the ability, but you remove the visible constraining mechanism that causes people to see, hey, wait a minute, this is wrong. Stealing and looting is wrong. I shouldn't do this. I know inwardly I may be tempted to do it, but I'm not going to do it because it's wrong. I'm going to find some other way to make my life better rather than be a thief. Okay. That's the reason why. It's because the morals and values have changed, because certain morals and values down through the years were removed out of the institutions. And now people are going buck wild. And when you remove those moral values, when you remove the moral law, what follows next? You start removing civil laws, or you create laws where there are no consequences. You create policies, rather, let's rephrase that. You create policies where there are no consequences to breaking these laws. For example, if a person is poor and they break the law, okay, and they commit crimes, if they're poor and they can't pay for bail, drop the bail. Drop the bail because they can't pay for it, because we feel bad for that impoverished person. Never mind holding that impoverished person responsible for the crime they committed, because the person that's impoverished that committed that crime knew the crime inwardly was wrong. Regardless of how they try to justify it, they knew inwardly it was wrong. But 9 times out of 10, they committed that crime because they knew they would get away with it. There would be no consequences. When you have no consequences, you have chaos, which really, and ending this video, is the ultimate goal of the progressive Democrats, which are nothing more than non-violent, non-aggressive communists in disguise. You get them by changing the laws up. You legislate chaos. You legislate immorality. Okay. That's how you get it. That's part of the process of communism in every country in the past. That's one of the ways in which they broke up those countries. They got inside the institutions, and that is the way they're working their way and webbing their way and crawling their way into the institutions of America. And this has been going on for decades, right under the American people's nose. And let me end the video on this. It is high time for American people to really wake up. I keep saying that, but it's high time for American people to wake up, because when are we going to get to a point collectively in this country where we can see that these progressive Democrats and these do good for nothing Republicans that are not doing anything? When are we going to wake up and see that they are part of the reason why our country is being destroyed? It's up to us. It's up to the people to say, wait a minute, we need to vote the right people in office. Bring on Donald Trump, man. Bring on some people that believe in law and order, legislating law and order. You do the crime, you pay the time. It's just you do the crime, you do the time, or whatever. It is what it is. You can't keep letting people get away with this type of stuff. But this, once again, this is what's going on, and it's a shame. Also, let me say this: it is a shame that these people's hearts have gotten so hardened that have looted these Jewish restaurants. Their hearts are so hardened, they don't care. They don't care about this is a religious holiday. They don't care about that. Because as the article goes on to say, they had swastika signs on there. So someone somewhere is hating on Jewish people. Someone somewhere is hating on these religious people, which makes no sense. Why? What are they doing to you other than being successful? And their success, for the most part, is based on their culture. What I mean by culture, they believe in studying. They believe in specializing and in particular areas that make money, like technology and business. When you go to school and you specialize in a curriculum that can make you money, 9 times out of 10, when you graduate, you're going to get a job that makes you money. It's not favoritism. It's not, what is that, stupid white privilege? That's stupid. That's dumb and ignorant. Okay, that doesn't exist today. Okay, it's you're going to be privileged when you work hard. When you do what you're supposed to do to get what you get, you're going to be privileged. And you have a right to be privileged because you earned that privilege. You work for it. When you don't work for it, you don't get it. It's just that simple. So people like this, they don't have any respect for law and order, but they certainly don't have any respect for God or anyone's religion for that matter. But once again, this is a sign that we're in. It's time for America to wake up. But that's what I had to say about that. What do you guys think about this looting in this place here? What do you think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.